want to tell you about my last name. I record the class sessions. Every class session, I record them and I put them on my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel is nothing but my class sessions and my husband's racing. So that's about it. So it's probably the most boring YouTube channel ever, but it's under my maiden name. So anytime that you miss a class, if you search YouTube, and you can later on subscribe to my channel, it's under Martha Boer. My first name and my maiden name. I can't change it because some of my former students, when I wasn't married, they still subscribe to my channel or they still look for my videos. So I'm not going to change that. So you just have to know that if you're searching, then search the YouTube channel for Martha Boer. So just a little bit about me. That's what I look like, in case you forget. I was born and raised in Kokomo. I'm very much a Kokomo girl at heart. Born here. My family's from here. I graduated from Kokomo High School back in 1995. So some of your parents and I went to school together. I enjoyed my time at Kokomo, but I had nothing better to do, so I moved to Mexico. I lived in Chihuahua, Mexico for a while, because why not? I did not, and I hate Chihuahuas. I passionately hate Chihuahuas. But I did figure out that's why they always make the little dogs, when they speak in cartoons, they speak in Spanish, because it's actually a place. It's a legit place. So I lived there for a while, and then I moved to New Jersey. I was a nanny in New Jersey for a while until I got a job working as an actress in New York. Obviously, that didn't work out. Not that great at it, and I don't have patience with other actresses. So I enjoyed my time there, but I was ready to get back to Kokomo. When I came back to Kokomo, I met the father of my kids. So we started paying for my education. I started at Ivy Tech because that's what I could afford. And I actually started going for Spanish education because I wanted to be a high school Spanish teacher. But when I transferred to IUK, I realized that I really love English. I'm a really, really good writer. I like to write a lot. I don't like to read very much. And I don't like to read because I'm dyslexic. So I physically get sick when I read too much. For me, things swim. So it makes me pretty ill. So it's really difficult for me to read. But I do enjoy writing. I enjoy the writing part of it more than anything. So I ended up with a degree in English. So I have a bachelor's degree in English and a bachelor's degree in secondary ed. I started teaching at Taylor Middle School back in 2006. I loved it. It was crazy. I taught middle school. They were kind of psychotic. It was wonderful. Loved it. But I was the last one in, so I was the first one out when it came time for cuts. So I moved to Plymouth, Indiana, my 4 kids and I. So during that time of getting my degree, I had 4 kids as well. We moved to Plymouth, Indiana. I enjoyed it up there. I was teaching high school. It was great. It was a lot of fun, but I was the last one in, so I was the first one out. So I ended up back in Kokomo, and that was about 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago now. And I went back to get my master's degree, and I did that because I couldn't find a job teaching. I went back to my old standby, which was waiting tables at Ducky's. So if any of you recognize me from that, that's why. I waited tables there off and on for 15 years, and I loved it, and I was able to support my entire family. When I came back from Plymouth, I met he became my boyfriend, my fiance, and now he's my husband. So I'm going to flip the light off for just a second. So my husband, Mike, this guy right here, so those of you who went to school with us, that's Mike, or your parents went to school with us. We knew each other from 7th grade, but he was a jerk in school. He really was, and I was not. So about 7 years ago we got together, and then earlier this year we got married. So Mike has a daughter, Madison. She's 17. My oldest son, Coy, is 16. My second oldest son, Drew, is 14. My daughter, May, my mini-me, she is 13. And my little guy, he will be 11 next month. My pride and joy is my dog. Roxy is my Italian Mastiff. She's gorgeous. We have her male counterpart, Sarge. He's dumb, but he's gorgeous, so that's okay. Mike and I got married in May, and then we spent our honeymoon in Italy.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, right? So this is the Isle of Capri. It was pretty awesome. And then this is Positano. So this is the same water, it's just this is the foggier side, and this is the awesome side. So when we got married, right before that, I had been working at Ivy Tech for about 5 years. Really loved Ivy Tech. Really enjoyed it. I taught developmental classes, but I also taught English 111. I taught English 112. And I taught creative writing classes. Watch your eyes and look like they're gone. So I really enjoyed my time at Ivy Tech, but I was one of the last ones in, so guess what happened? So that pattern of being one of the last ones in and one of the first ones out kind of sucks. But for those of you who are here because you want to get a better job, or you want to get a job that you're not going to be the last one in and the first one out, I understand. It has happened to me and my family quite a bit. So I started teaching here last term. I was actually hired because Nick, the director, I did his dual credit visit for his English 111 class. And so he knew about me. Mrs. Milam, her husband, and I worked together at Ivy Tech for a while. So I enjoy doing this. You'll get to know me a little bit more, but I'm very much a Kokomo girl at heart. So when I talk about Kokomo, it's with fondness. I understand that Kokomo has some issues, but we'll talk about it in a positive light as much as possible. So what I want to do now is just get to know you guys a little bit. So one of the things that we're doing in this class, especially this first 3 days, is really assessing whether you're in here because you should be, whether you're in here because you really just flaked off and don't need to be in here, or you need the credits. So I'm going to be testing your writing ability a lot in this first term because I want to see where you guys are at with your writing skills and your comprehension skills. So what I want you guys to do on that piece of paper that I asked you to have out with your name at the top, I'm going to have you write 3 to 5 sentences about yourself. So, yeah, I have a stolen hotel paper around here somewhere if you don't have any paper. So put your name at the top.
Paper from last term,
Yeah. Is ours from last term too?
We'll talk about that.
It's all at home anyway.
So what I need are 3 to 5 complete sentences about yourself. And I need you guys to make these the best sentences that you can, because this is another way that I'm going to test and see where you guys are at with your understanding. If you're pretty high on your understanding, if you understand sentence structure, then we're going to just plow through some stuff. But if you don't understand it, then we're going to spend a little bit more time on things. So give me 3 to 5 sentences about yourself. The things I definitely need to have in those 3 to 5 sentences. I need your name. If it's a shortened version of your name, that's fine. If you prefer to be called your middle name or a version of your name, then let me know what that is. I want to know what your goals are for being here. So if this is a stepping stone to something else, let me know. Your focus after you complete. So I had a lot of students who were here to get their high school diploma so they could work at Chrysler. I had a lot of students in the past who've been here because they want to get into the military. Whatever your focus is after you complete, I need to know that. And then any questions or concerns that you guys may have. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do this. Just give me the best sentences that you can possibly come up with. Okay?
Just right now, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't laugh at me.
I won't laugh.
How do you spell horrifying?
H-O-R.
When she laughed at you, she told her about
Thank you.
Yes.
You know me.
Okay, take a couple of minutes and finish this up, please. Okay, so I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to finish this up, but I want to explain to you guys what it is that I'm looking for. So a couple of things that I'm looking at, I do, again, need your name. So you guys don't have to stand up and say, this is my information, but I need to know your name and your goals for being here. As long as you say it loud enough that everyone can hear you. But I want to explain to you guys why I'm doing this. Listen. So you guys are going to be in this class for a solid 7.5 weeks together, almost 8 weeks together. It's a tight space. You guys are going to be doing projects together. You guys are going to be doing a lot of work together. I need to get to know you so I know the dynamics of how you work and how you function. So I know who to pair you up with and who to keep you away from. I need to know how you're going to work in groups and how you're going to function in groups. So this is the beginning of me getting to know those things so I can appropriately match you up. This is, again, it's going to be tight quarters in here. I'm hoping that by the end of the day I can get rid of a table or two, but it's going to be pretty tight. So I really want to make sure that I pair you guys up and match you guys up the best that I possibly can. So we're going to try a few things this first week, but I need to get to know you guys. You also need to get to know each other as well. This can be a very successful experience if you let it be. That being said, as you guys are finishing up, just a quick note. I'm also one of the student council advisors. We have a student council here at the Excel Center. The student council, we have officers, we have regular meetings. Our next meeting is tomorrow in the Student Success Center, which is that room across from Miss Pearson's room. So it's right over there, the wall that I really wanted to knock out. The meeting is at 12:30 until 12:55. So it's at the end of lunch, the tail end of lunch.
I had spoke to Nick about doing 2 fundraisers for Lionel Butterfly Child. Is that something that we're going to be discussing?
Yeah, we will. We may not discuss it tomorrow, but we'll have it. We've been discussing it for a while.
Okay.
What's that? Yeah, 9:50. I'm sorry, 12:55. 12:05 to 12:55 is your lunch break.
If there's any information that you need, just let me know. I have her phone number, contact information.
Okay.
She's got a couple nonprofit organizations that like to put into, so stuff like that.
Okay. All right. So you guys are going to tell the rest of the class a little bit about yourselves. I don't need your life history. I got like a 5-minute life history on somebody in the first period. I don't want your life history. I'll get to know you a little bit more later. But we don't need that today. So give me your name, what you prefer to be called, but I have to check you off to make sure you're here. So give me your legal name, but also give me what you prefer to be called and how to spell that. Like my kids all have weird names. Drew isn't D-R-E-W, it's Drewy. So I need to know Drewy. Yep. The hillbilly name, so don't be laughing over there. So I need to know how you guys want to spell your names. I will call you by that. That is what I will refer to you as. I'm very adamant about referring to you by the name that you prefer to be called, unless it's something like Tarzan. Had that once, I'm not going to call you Tarzan. I'm not going to call you Grand Supreme Lord. I'm not going to call you any of that crap. Give me your version of your name, okay? Start here. Okay. Tell everybody your name.
My name is Melissa. Hi, Melissa. Hi. Hey.
And your goal for being here.
I want to get my diploma so I can go to school and get more education so I can be a physical therapist.
Okay. You guys listening?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Ready?
My name's Jacob.
And what's your last name?
My goals for being here is I want to get a diploma, to go to college, and then go to first. My name's Leah Powell. I want to graduate so I can go to college and be an ER nurse.
All right. Thank you. And we'll go across.
I'm Nathan. I'm here to get my high school diploma.
Okay.
My name's Matea, and I want to be a dental assistant.
What's your last name?
Pickard.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
My name is Danielle. I like Danny though. I like Danielle.
And your last name?
Watts.
Okay.
And I just want to improve like my math and reading skills and get my high school diploma.
Do you spell it D-A-N-I? Okay. Perfect. Ready?
My name is Kristen Price, and I'm here to get my high school diploma to be a pediatric nurse.
Okay. Thank you. Ready?
Hi, my name is Tony Johnson. I'm here to get my nursing diploma so I can actually
So you can actually what?
use my degree that I already have.
Okay. Ready?
My name is Kamad. Call me T. Lee.
What's your last name?
Lee.
Okay.
I'm here to get my high school diploma, go to college, be a mechanic.
Like car mechanic? Okay. That's my husband. Ready?
I was going to say, I'm running right there.
My name is Jada Roach, and I want to be a correctional officer, and I also want to go for business management so I can become really cost effective.
Okay. Okay, guys, I'm going to ask that you listen quietly. Thank you. All right, ready?
My name is Mitchell.
What's your last name?
Joseph.
Okay.
Yeah, my goal is to finish school, get artist projects, and try to get into
Like a music artist?
Very good.
There's no million dollars.
Okay. Ready?
My name is Megan Stones, and I just want to get my diploma and figure out what I want to do.
Okay. Thank you. Ja'Cory, ready?
Called on you.
My name is Corey. I go by Corey. I'm married to my phone with Bar.
Okay. Thank you.
My name is Wesley. My nickname is Leo.
Okay. Mike?
Well, you know my name, she just said it. My friends call me Kickstand. I'm here because I want to get my high school diploma. I want to go to Ivy Tech, get my ASC certification for master mechanic, as well as a business degree so I can open my own shop and tell my monkeys what to do.
Okay. Ready?
My name is Michael Wiley.
Okay.
I've been here since last year. I'm only here to get my high school diploma and then do their welding class over here.
Okay.
And become a welder and then I'll move on to water.
That's what my neighbor does.
What do you mean tell your monkeys what to do?
Grease monkeys. That's what they call mechanics or grease monkeys. I didn't mean that in any racial way in any way.
Okay.
No, yeah. Like when I was running my shops, they were grease monkeys.
Samantha? All right, guys. Samantha?
My name is Sam. People call me Sounds Good for like Jamie's also.
And what's your last name?
Tampa.
Okay.
I'm here to get my diploma. I don't really know what I want to do right now. There's like multiple things I want.
Okay.
That's not really focused on one.
Okay.
I'll go for college. There's like 3 of them I'm thinking about. Don't have to really think.
It just depends on what you want to do, too.
Like when the time comes down to it, see what I got, what I like.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Chris?
Very nice to have my name. It's Christopher, and you can call me by Chris, it doesn't matter. And I'm here to get my degree, high school degree, so I can go to college at Ivy Tech and get my business degree and open up my own bar and grill.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm Dalton. Dalton.
I'm here to get my high school diploma so I can get a better job and just provide for my family.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
Hi everyone, I'm Cameron Fish. I'm a DJ or Cameron, don't matter. My reasons for being here is to graduate and begin my path of life. After I graduate, I want to go to college for businessship, masseuse, and musician.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Madeline Gage. I go by Maddie, and I'm here to get my diploma so I can go to college.
Okay. And do you spell it M-A-D-D-I? M-A-D-D-I-E. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. And what's your name? What's your name? Yep. What's your last name? Okay. What are you here for? What are you here for? Okay. What do you want to do after that? Not sure? Alright, so a couple of things that you guys need to be aware of. I am huge on respect. You're going to see that written in the syllabus. You're going to see that. You're going to hear that. You're going to see symbols of that all over the place. And I need you guys to be very respectful of one another and of me. So when I'm talking, I need you guys to not be talking. When someone else is talking or asking a question, chances are that you need to know that information as well. So I need you to be quiet as well. What we're going to do is go through the course syllabus. It's a lot of information. You're going to see my rules and how the class is going to be run. The syllabus is really your guide to being successful in the classroom. So you need this information. I wrote it, so I already know it. So I need you guys to listen. I'm going to have you pay attention to certain things. Keep that piece of paper that you wrote about yourself, keep that out because you're going to add to that information later on. Oh, yeah. For those of you who've been in my class before, this is a little bit different, and I do have a couple of additions to it that I want you to pay really close attention to. Alright, so let's go through this, and if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them before we get to any questions. But if you have any questions, make sure you stop and ask. So the first bit of information, my name is listed there. My last name is Warner. I prefer to be called Mrs. Warner. I'm your teacher, I'm not your friend, not your homie, not your grease monkey. I'm none of that. I am your teacher. So call me Mrs. Warner, please. My cell phone number is listed there. Use it. Get used to it. Text me if you're going to be late. If you're going to miss a class, text me and let me know. Leave me a voicemail, whatever you need to do. My number is listed there, and I expect you guys to use it. My email address is listed there. I do use my email a lot. It's attached to my phone. My phone is attached to me. So use it. Communicate with me. I'm huge on communication. The course description is listed there. So this course is a study of world history. We are going to start with the early ancient Egyptian time period, and we're really going to focus from the ancient Egyptian to the Greek and Roman mythology. But we are going to do things differently from what we've done before. So if you've been in this class before, it's going to be different than what it was, and I'll explain that more later on. This class is 2 credits. So you get a world history credit out of this class, and you get a reading credit or a world literature credit out of this class. So you're getting an English credit and you're getting a history credit from this class. Writing is different. You get a couple of English credits from that. And if you're in my writing class later on, that class has 2 English credits tied to this. This only has 1 English credit tied to it. So know that, and know that this is also a world history credit. The course learning objectives are listed there. So these are the things that we're going to work on throughout the entire term. We're going to focus a lot on identifying main ideas. So when you read something, sometimes it's easy to draw out the main idea. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's stated, sometimes it's implied. We're going to work throughout the term on identifying that. We're going to look at data and information, or not information, but evidence. So we're going to look at how we use that evidence to support our ideas. We're going to write in some various forms. You're not going to be doing an extensive amount of writing in this class, but you will be doing some writing. You will be writing 1 essay, and then you're going to be doing a lot of projects in here. So this class is going to be majorly based on projects. So you're going to do small projects and you're going to do large projects. You're also going to be reading a novel in this class. That novel will be based on several different factors. The novel will be with a group, so you and a group of people are going to be reading the same novel, and you're going to be doing things with that novel as a group. We're going to be looking a lot at really working on reading and comprehension skills. They're flying at. Oh. I got it. So we're going to work a lot in this class on your comprehension skills through the world history information, so the world studies information. We are going to be talking a lot about vocabulary. That was one of the things that, if you've been in this class before, I've noticed a lot of students really need some work with vocabulary, so we're going to work on that. We're going to work on using parts of speech or parts of the vocabulary, the prefix, roots, and suffix. We're going to work on looking at those things using context clues, so we're going to work a lot on vocabulary. For those of you who plan to move on or you're going into specialized fields, this is going to be immensely helpful for you because you will be going into areas that you have your own lingo. I mentioned that my husband's a mechanic. Yeah, he says words sometimes that I don't really know that they're words, but I just have to go with it because that's his lingo. That's what he uses. Those are the things he says. And even though I don't understand it, it's legit. It's his field. He doesn't understand the words I say, so that happens a lot. So everybody is going to have their own field, and I'm going to teach you some strategies to being successful. I'm also going to be working with you guys a lot on test-taking strategies. So things that you can do to take tests and be more successful in tests in general. That includes tests across the board. So we're going to work a lot on those skills in here. All right, the methods of evaluation. So you're going to have weekly vocabulary quizzes. Those are going to start next week. You'll have 6 weeks worth of vocabulary quizzes. Those vocabulary quizzes, you'll have midterm. You will have unit assessments. So there will be times that you take tests. All of those pieces, midterm, final exam, they will all go in the category of assessments. So that is 65% of your grade. That's the majority of your grade. Projects are going to be 20% of your grade. So we are going to be doing a lot of projects in here. So for those of you who were in the class last term with me, we did a lot of packets. We're going to be doing more projects this time. So we're going to be doing smaller pieces that hopefully help you guys understand the information a bit more. Daily activities are going to make up 15% of your grade. So that 15% includes things like the do now, which we'll talk about here in a bit, the exit ticket, things that you do every day in class. This may be a short activity in class, it may be a group assignment, whatever it is, it'll go into that category. So you see the grading scale over here, it's pretty standard, I'm not going to go over it. Under the expected materials, so you need to bring in every day a writing utensil. I expect you guys to start bringing those in every single day. If you have the ability to get a binder, I would suggest that you get a binder to keep things organized. If you have a folder, that's nice, but a binder would be nicer because then you can collect things in there. I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of materials, but I'm also going to be expecting you guys to bring things in. If you cannot keep that and bring it back every day, if you know that you're going to forget it, I will have spare paper for you. It's stolen from hotels. I do that a lot, so sorry about that, but it is what it is. So I will have that here, but if you need to leave your binder here because you don't feel comfortable taking it home, then let me know. We can talk about that. Paper. So you need to bring paper in every day and a writing utensil. I will have spares, but I expect you guys to bring those things in. I would suggest that you guys get a USB. We will be doing a lot with Google Drive. So for those of you who came to IXL last week, we set up your Google accounts, your Gmail. We're going to be doing a lot with Google Drives, but I also suggest that you guys have a USB. I had some students last term who lost all of their work. So I suggest that you have something. Have a backup of some kind.
What is the USB?
It's a little drive. Yep, I have mine somewhere. I have about 20 of them somewhere. Like this. They have them at the dollar store. It doesn't have to store a lot. It doesn't have to hold a lot. Just make sure that you have one. All right, any questions before we get into the hard stuff? Okay. I expect you guys to act like grown-ups. If that is too much to expect from you, there's a door, and you can go. I expect you to be respectful. I expect you to not be jerks. And in doing that, there are some guidelines and some expectations here. So my philosophy is you've got to be brave to do this. You guys have taken steps that so many people haven't. My husband doesn't have a high school diploma. He has a GED, but he doesn't have a high school diploma. My brother doesn't have one. My dad doesn't have one. My mom barely has one. Thank goodness for choir. So you have taken steps that a lot of people haven't. So I expect you to take this seriously. This room is crowded, and people who need to be here are the ones who need to take it seriously. So I expect you to be respectful. And that's my first one here. Well, my second one. But the first one is believing in yourself. I am going to ask you guys to try things in here. It is things that you may not be comfortable with, you may not have tried before, but I'm going to ask that you try them because it may work. It may be the one thing that makes that light bulb turn on and you understand the concept a little bit better. These are concepts and these are skills that are going to last you in all of your academic career. Respect others. So this is my biggest one. I expect you guys to be respectful. Don't talk when I'm talking. Don't interrupt other people. Don't talk while someone else is talking, but really be respectful to each other. I do not stand for intolerance. I am really big on you guys being as open-minded as possible. If you have bigoted remarks, if you have homophobic remarks, keep them to yourself or get out of my room. I'm a safe zone ally, so essentially what that means is that I am a safe place for people who have alternative lifestyles to come talk to. If you don't agree with that, that's fine, as long as you keep your mouth shut. If you don't agree with that, then hit the door. Okay?
Don't say it at all.
Yep. When you are criticizing other people, I expect you to not be a jerk about it. So even if it's the worst thing you've ever read, don't say, man, this is the stupidest thing I've ever read. No. You're going to do it politely. So everything that we do is going to be helpful instead of harmful. Asking questions. So I don't know what you don't know unless you let me know, you know? I have a lot of questions, by the way. So I need to know what you guys don't understand. It is no way a reflection on me. It is no way a reflection on you. If you don't know how to spell horrifying, well, I got to write it on the board too. So it's no reflection on what you don't know. It's just that we're not in that place where we both know how to spell it out loud or on the paper. So we've got to get there, but I don't know that unless you tell me. I expect you to ask each other questions. So there will be times for discussion in here, but there are also times that you're just being disruptive. So don't bother the person next to you unless you're serious about asking them a question, something that's going to help your learning. But know that I'm the one grading you, not the person next to you, so I might be a better person to ask. Value yourself in your education. We are here because we want to be, not because we have to be. If you have to be here because your probation officer said you need to be or your mom said you need to be, then maybe you need to talk to me about that because we may be at a different level of respect. But I do expect respect out of everybody. You're here because you have that choice. Enthusiastically enter the class each day. So you guys are going to see on my board here. If you're not ready to learn, so you don't have your materials together, but maybe you don't have those materials. Maybe you don't have any paper. Maybe you don't have any paper. You can come in and ask me for a piece of paper. But if you left all of your materials in your vehicle, you probably need to run out and get those. Focused. So if you come in here, I don't want to hear music at all, playing from your whatever. I don't want to hear it. It needs to stop at that door. So don't walk in my room with your phones on or your music blaring. And I need you off your phone. So don't come in my room on your phone. Stay out there. If you need to use your phone, take a hike, go walk. I don't need to hear your business right out here. But you are not to be on your phone in this class. Okay? In no way, shape, or form. So I don't want to see you texting. If it's that important, then obviously you don't need to be here. I don't want to hear you talking on your phone. I don't want to hear you talking into your phone, and you're going to see that in the next section under class decorum. Do not talk on your phone or into your phone. So when I was teaching at Ivy Tech years ago, I had this student who answered her phone in class and started talking about her bitch teacher and how she didn't let them use their phones in class and what was wrong with her, and she's pretty ugly anyway, and she's badass. But she's saying these things in class. So I was very happy to help her out the door. But if you have that much of an issue that you need to be on your phone, then you need to go. Okay? I don't want to hear your music. I'm probably going to enjoy it, but I don't want to hear it. And nobody else needs to hear that. So no music. I will occasionally let you, if you're working on something or you're all working in small groups, there have been times, and those of you who were in class last term, you know, there have been days that like 3 people show up. So if that's a day and 3 people show up, I don't care if you have your headphones on. But most of the time, I want those things on. Okay? No phones in class. All right, the next thing. I expect you guys to be respectful of each other. I expect you guys to be respectful of me. You're going to read and hear about things that may be personal. If you have something personal to share, I expect everybody to be respectful of what you're sharing. If it's too personal, don't share it. There are a lot of times that I have things in my life that I can't share because I'm too emotional about it. If you're too emotional, then don't share it. But if you feel comfortable enough talking about it, you just need a level of respect, then that's what I expect from you guys. So the next section here is about plagiarism and cheating. I expect you guys to be honest in everything that you do. Those of you who've been in my class before, you can use the papers that you've used before. So the essays that you wrote before, you can use those. Just do better because you're in here again. So you need to do better on those things. Very similar stuff. So like personal narratives, you can use the parts to know. Okay? And I'll answer more specific questions for those of you who've been in here before with me. I'll answer more questions about that later on. I expect you guys to be honest in everything that you do. I don't expect you to cheat. If I see you cheating, so this is how much of a jerk I can be. So I'm going to let you finish, and then I'm going to give you a 0. So don't cheat. It's a waste of time. I had students last term who cheated, and man, cheat off of somebody who's worth cheating off of, but don't even bother, because sometimes you know the things better than the other person. Okay? Ran into that a lot last term. Okay, the next page, so page 3. We're almost done with this part. So on assignments. Assignments are due when they're due. I expect you guys to have them ready before class. If they're due at the beginning of class, then that's when they're due. If they come in late, and you'll see this next section that are late assignments. I do accept things late, but they are with a percentage deduction. So if it's 1 day late, it's 10% off. If it's 2 days late, it's 20% off. If it's 5 days late, you are automatically going to get an F, but you can still get some points. So you should still consider turning it in. On projects, projects are going to have an end due date. So if the end due date is 2 weeks away, you will still get penalized points, but you can't turn it in after that due date. That's kind of a checkpoint for us and coaches.
So if you give us an end due date, start the first day that you hand it to us. If we don't turn it in that day, we've lost points the second day.
If it's due 1 day, and then you have a day that you can't turn it in after that day, so every day after you get 10 points taken off. And it's usually about 10 days out, which would be 100% anyway. The test. So any test that you guys have in this class, you have 1 week to make those up. So if you have a vocabulary quiz on Thursday, you only have until that following Thursday to make it up. Fridays are meant, for those of you who are new, Fridays are meant for you guys to come in and work with your teachers. I have a lot of students who come in on Fridays to make up a test or to ask questions because they're confused by something, but they didn't want to take up time or they want some one-on-one time. That's what Fridays are for. Fridays, I'm usually available from 9 to noon. It's not every Friday that I'm available, but most of them. If you want to come in on a Friday, just let me know. I'll write your name down, and then we can go over any questions that you have. There are certain things that you cannot turn in late. So do nows are at the very beginning of the class period. Exit tickets are at the very end. If you're not here within the first 10 minutes when we're doing the do now, you don't get to do that. You can do it, but you've just wasted your time because you're not going to get any points. If you leave early, then you're not getting your exit ticket. No. Those things are worth 5 points, so it's not a big deal, not that big a deal, but it will eventually impact your grade. You cannot make those things up.
What if we called you and notified you that we're going to be late? Can you still get credit for the do now?
No. In-class activities can only be done in class, and they're due during that time period. Okay? It goes in the daily activities, which is 15% of your grade. So you're not going to fail the class because you haven't done those things, but you will get a point deduction on those.
What if it's a reason for you?
You still don't get credit. Yeah, you're still not going to get the do now.
Like if I had an appointment with the Social Security office or something, I have to be there.
5 points, guys. 5 points. Okay, let's really think about this, guys. So how many of you have ever worked a job in your life? Okay, if you're late, you may not get fired that first time, but the second time you're late, you may not get fired that time. Third time, maybe not. But your boss is going to look at you like, this slacker is really getting on my nerves. I am here giving you guys these opportunities. The do now and the exit tickets are things that help me understand what you're missing and what your gaps are. No, you can't. And it's 5 to 10 points a day. You need to go talk to your coach about that. That's not appropriate. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay.
Maybe another day.
Yeah.
And it's not okay, guys. This is not okay. It's not acceptable. People are here to be serious and to learn and to get through this experience. And while we're on this note, let's talk about tardies. So you are here for a very short period of time. You have 4 opportunities for absences before the Excel Center says you should not be here. You miss 4 classes, you should not be here. That's like 4 weeks of regular school. Tardies. So this is my tardy policy. The first tardy, I'm going to give you a card. You're going to come in late. I'm going to give you a card. And I'm going to have you write your name, your date, and why you were late. You're going to put it in the box over here. And I'm going to give you that mom look like, you know, you should have been late. That's what I'm going to do. Yep. It says it right there.
Mom look.
The second tardy, I'm going to give you a card. I'm going to have you write your name, write the date. And then I'm going to let you know this is your second tardy. Okay? So you really need to buck up. We have 5-minute passing periods. For those of you who smoke, that's not a lot of time. Yeah. And number 3, the third tardy. So with the third tardy, I'm going to give you the card. You're going to sign your information. You're going to put your information down there. And then we're going to do what we call a Tier 1 reporting. So with the Tier 1 reporting, we have a form. The coaches have this form. And the coaches are going to call you in and they're going to say, what is going on? Why are you constantly late to this class? And they are going to work with you on what may be causing that issue. So if it's a scheduling issue, if it's a, I can't get up out of bed at this time, they're going to work with you on whatever that is. The fourth tardy, you will not be allowed back into class. So after 3 tardies, you're locked out. So the fourth tardy, you actually have to set up a meeting with me and your coach, and you will go through this Tier 2 reporting status. And you will have to sign a contract. If you don't abide by the contract, which says that you don't miss any classes and you're not tardy, then you're out of the class. Okay? Any questions over that? I do have a lot of structure. And realistically, things
I'm
happen.
asking so many questions is because you've changed this a lot.
It's not a lot of change. So, Chris and Corey, you were in my class at the end of last term. What happened when people were late?
The door got locked.
Yep, door got locked. So, it's not a lot of change. Did you have a question?
Yeah, like right before I came in the door today, I got a phone call. I mean, so if I was like 5 minutes late, so I got a phone call saying I needed to pick my kid up at school, I'm gonna get penalized for.
That's gonna count as a tardy. Now, what happens? Sometimes people have emergency situations.
Well, I did.
So if
Somebody
you
picked him up.
And I have 5 kids. I know crap happens a lot. So if something like that happens, take your phone and walk out. Let me know that that's going on. I'm not completely unreasonable.
I didn't say.
No,
that.
I know you're not. I'm not completely unreasonable. I have bladder too, guys. So sometimes I have to go to the bathroom. And 5 minutes isn't a lot of time for me to finish up with my last group and rearrange the class because I have to do that, and then get to the bathroom and then get back in here. So there are times that, yeah, it's okay. But for the most part, this is something that got severely abused last term.
Yeah,
so that's why this exists. When you come in late, you're disrupting everybody else.
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
If you have an emergency situation, if you have something going on, I've had students in the past who've had their cell phones out and on silent, and as soon as their phone rang, they took off and answered their phone. One student, her mom was having surgery, so her sister was calling her and letting her know what was happening. I'm fine with that. Don't talk in the class, because you don't all need to know about the pus and everything else that's going on. But make sure that you are letting me know ahead of time. So let me know if something like that's going on, and then I'm aware of those situations, okay? I do have the class periods written down there. You do have lunch after this. So after this, you will have a lunch break until 12:55, and then we have third period. For those of you who are in my third period writing class, if you want to leave your stuff in here, you can do that. Just know that I lock my door during lunch as well, so I can get a few minutes and go out of here. So just know that, okay? So the last part of this, if you miss a class, the first thing that you need to do is communicate that with me. Lock my phone number in your cell phones. So if you need to text me, go ahead, call me, whatever it is. Don't call me if you've just been in a wreck. Please don't make me your first phone call. That happened last fall. I had a student who hit a deer leaving tips in, and she called me. It's like, Holly, call 911. Are you okay? So don't make me your first call, but make me your second call. Okay? My number is listed there. Yes.
For like when we have projects and stuff, is it just gonna be like writing, or is it gonna be like actually doing something?
It's like actually doing stuff. It's gonna be.
Okay, there's like this right here, writing.
Yeah. It's gonna be like sometimes you get used to. You see the posters in the back? So that was a project. So there was some writing involved. Some good, some bad.
So this is stuff you do as a class, or does you do that on your own?
They did that individually, but the top one and the red one, they were in a group together. So they talked about the information together as a group, and then they did the projects by themselves. There are times that you may do group projects.
We get to pick who's in our group.
Most of the time, no. And that's what this stuff that you guys have been doing, that stuff is meant to help me understand who you are going to be able to work with. There are going to be people that you have in your life that you may like to hang out with, but they're probably not good for you to be productive with. So I'm going to help you guys sort those things out. There may be groups that you're in, and I go, ooh, this is not working out. So I'm going to move you and adjust you. The groups that you will be in will also be based on your lexiling part. So your reading level is what's going to dictate which book that you eventually get. Okay. So I'm going to do a lot of work with that. I have changed the novels. So for those of you who had me previous terms, the novels are different. Okay.
Any of them that I've read?
Maybe. Go ahead.
You want to give us a spelling test, because I'm going to need that a lot.
I will not give you spelling tests, but you will have vocabulary tests. Most everybody needs some work on spelling. We do.
You see how you said that? It's like every word I speak is like, hey, they spell it.
Yeah, my husband, every day. How do you spell the?
You know?
Yeah. So, you bring up a good point though, and this is what I want you guys to know. If you guys tell me what your needs are, then I'm going to find you guys resources. I actually have a spelling website that you can go to and you can test yourself. I have another student who wanted to work on reading fluency, so she reads, but it's like chunky and it's bad. So I found her a website that she can go to on her own. So I'll find you some resources if you let me know what your concerns are and needs. Yes.
Like, are we gonna be having those things where, like, you know, we say we're gonna be reading novels? Are you gonna do it right where we do like read sections? Because I have anxiety and like bipolar.
You're not gonna be reading.
And it's just like I want to like I'll get all nervous. And it's like if the next person's like slow and stuff, I might get aggravated really, really quick. And
No.
Just, like, I don't want to be.
You're not going to be reading out loud, but one of the first things that we're going to work on is active reading strategies. So what you can do to be a better reader, and we're going to spend a lot of time working on those strategies and then practicing for the rest of the term. But you will not be reading out loud. I will teach you some things that you can do to be a better reader out loud. I read to my kids a lot. Before I had kids, I read to my nieces and nephews a lot to practice fluency. When I lived in Mexico, I was trying to practice speaking fluent Spanish, so I was reading out loud a lot. So I'll give you tools that you can use on your own later on. Okay? So the last part of this, if you miss a class, the first thing you need to do is communicate that with me. Text me, email me, whatever. If you need me to let your coach know, then I'm happy to do that. If you need me to let your other teachers know, I'm happy to do that. Okay? If you miss a class, communicate with me. The second thing you do, when you come in, you guys are period 2. You're this blue folder that says absent. Check this folder. So I had 2 students who missed my first period class. Their information is right here for them. So when you come in, grab your stuff out of the folder. I really need you guys to, so my first period class, I have 2 students who are in wheelchairs, rather large wheelchairs, and we use this class and the one across the hall. Please do not come into this class until 10:30. Even if the door's open, don't come in until 10:30. They're still in class oftentimes, but the doors are open. So just be respectful of that and not come in. Don't come in until 10:30. And 10:35 is when the class actually starts. So before class starts, if you can grab your materials, great. If it's during class, just try not to do it when I'm talking to the rest of the group. Once you grab these materials, I suggest that you guys talk to someone else about what it is that you missed. The YouTube videos that I record, those won't be uploaded until usually the next day. It doesn't connect for me here, so I have to do that from home. And I have a volleyball player and a cross-country runner, so I have a lot of crap to go to. Do you have a question?
That's only for the absent students, right?
Yep, if you're absent, that's it. Yes.
Where's your YouTube camera?
That's what all.
I have my video going right here. Yep.
Oh, so you're recording.
And it shows this. It shows the board, and you hear me. So again, these are the most boring YouTube videos ever. Nope, it's not gonna get you guys.
It might get us talking, that's about it.
Yeah, it's gonna. Your voice is gonna be on there, but that's about it. And the audio on it from you guys isn't gonna be very strong.
Oh, I can yell loud.
So there are some information about your classmates. If you want to get information about your classmates, you get their name and their phone number. Somebody that you may, maybe you live next to somebody or you live close to somebody. Maybe you know somebody from something else in life. So maybe you get each other's phone number. So you can text each other, call each other, get each other's information. ADA statement. So for those of you who have any kind of disability, this can be something that you think is really small, or something that is medical, or something that is a learning issue. So an example of this, I'm dyslexic. So for me, I had to learn to speed read so I can keep up with other readers. So it looks like I'm reading at the same pace as you are. I'm not. I'm actually going over 3 times at the same time you're going over it once. But sometimes I just physically can't. I just can't do it. So that would be a learning disability of some kind. My mom has a seizure disorder. So she has seizures often. My dad is diabetic. So he passes out often. Too often. So if you have any kind of concerns, Miss Paula's information is listed there. If it's a medical concern that you want me to be aware of, I did have a student last term who was on a lot of medicines for seizure disorders. So give me a list of those medicines. I'll share it with the people that need it. I'm not going to share it with the public. I'm not going to publish it in the Tribune or anything. But I need to know that information in case something happens. Okay, I had a student in Logansport who used to have seizures. It got to be she had seizures every day on campus. So we just had to, at that point, we just had to manage it the best that we could. So the final note that's listed here, I may change these guidelines depending on the pace of the class and the needs of the class. So if you guys are doing really well on something, we may accelerate that, or we may eliminate that. If you guys are really struggling with something, we may stop and spend a bit more time with that. The term dates that I want you to remember are listed there, and this term is going to be a long, steady term. We don't have breaks. So there are no holidays in here. There's really no breaks at all. So today the term begins. October 1st is going to be your midterm. So that's going to be a Thursday. It's a very important day to be here. Wednesday, October 28th is the final exam. If you are going to struggle with being here for the final exam, that is on a Wednesday. I want to suggest that you come to my afternoon class because that day is the last day that you guys can take it. The next day I won't be here. I have a conference in Indianapolis, so I won't be here on the 29th, and we won't have class that day. I do have a fourth period, 2:30 to 4 o'clock is the same class. It's English 3 as well. So if you miss a class, then you can go to that class. Okay? Questions on the syllabus? Nope. All right. Quick overview of the classroom and the way that things will be structured, and then I will get you guys out of here. So when you guys come in, the second tray here is for you. The orange sheet is what you need to grab. So this orange sheet is going to be a place for you to organize your ideas. It has a place for your name, the day of the week, the date. That information is up there except your name. You need to write your own name. The do now is listed there. So I'm going to have a do now up here that is meant to help me understand where you guys are at in a certain skill. So it may be asking you about something that you know about. It may be asking you about one of the pica traits. It may be asking you about a specific skill. It may be a review from the last class. It's going to be something different every day. You write it in here. So we will start with vocabulary as a whole group. We will go into vocabulary. Your vocabulary words are always going to be written up here, so you don't have to worry about spelling them correctly. They will be up here. We will go through them as a whole class every day. You will have 2 words on Monday and Tuesday. So that's 4 words, 2 each day. And then on Wednesdays, you'll have a 5th word, and then we'll review all of your words. We will have some whole group instruction, and then we will try to get into rotations, but the rotations are going to take a little while to get into. The rotations are, again, going to be group-based. So you may be with a partner, you may be with a small group, you may be with a large group. And then the final thing we'll do every day will be the exit ticket. The exit ticket will be the last 5 minutes of class. Okay? How many points is the do now worth? 5. How many points is the exit ticket worth? 5.
What do exit tickets usually be?
Exit tickets are usually me checking and quickly assessing where you've been that day or preparing for the next day. So an example of this is going to be today's exit ticket, where I'm asking you guys to point out things that you learned today or that you're still confused by from today. Another exit ticket may be, hey, what do you know about this topic? And that will help me prepare for the next day's lesson. Okay, so they're all going to be different. Our rotations are going to focus on world studies. So there will be days that we focus for a period of time on something, maybe ancient Greece, maybe ancient Egypt, maybe Hammurabi, maybe Cleopatra. So we're going to be focusing occasionally in the world studies area. I will try to have time for you guys every day to read. It's not always going to be possible, so there may be times that you need to take your reading with you. And we'll talk more about that later on. So the last couple of things I have for you guys. So when you come in every day, the orange is yours. The red is my other class. So please grab the orange ones. Those are yours. They may be in white if I run out of color to give you two. Grab these. These pencils and pens are up here for you guys to use. I do have some extra materials over here as well. This is my corner of the world, so try to stay out of my corner of the world. Kind of like your backpack. I don't get in your backpack. Don't get in my corner. The back corner, back there beside Chris and behind Sam, that is extra materials. So when we do projects, I will try to have materials here for you guys to work on and work with. There may be times that you need to bring something in. I will try to minimize that as much as possible. But if you have access to resources and you can get those things, that's even better. Any questions? Nope?
Yeah, what's
All right.
the exit ticket so we can get one on it?
Exit ticket.
Oh, we write this ourselves?
You're going to write this. You're going to make a list. So I don't want complete sentences. On that paper that you wrote about yourself, the back side of it, down below it, I just want 4 things. I would like 2 things that you learned today and 2 things that you may be confused by.
For this class? Or just
For this class.
Oh, just this class.
Yes, if you have something that you're confused by from today in general, you can add that. Just right on the back. If you have nothing you're confused by, then just give me 4 things that you learned. If you have one thing you're confused by, give me 3 things you learned. This can be about the new rules. This can be about the class itself. It can be about me. It can be about each other. I need 4 things in a list. Okay? So whether it's 2 and 2 or 3 and 2 or 1 and 3, whatever. Just give me 4 things. Again, this does not need to be incomplete sentences. I prefer it's not. Once you are finished with this, you're going to turn this in and you are good for the day.